Hello YouTube, it's me, Boots on the Ground, coming back to you guys with this update on the USAMC agreement, the USCA agreement. This chapter 14, investments. Basically, you have the general outline for each chapter. It starts out with definitions on what it's covered and how it's structured, and it identifies the issues. You have covered investments, means in respect to the party and investment and its territory, an investor of another party in existence of as the date of entry into the force of this agreement or established, acquired, expand thereafter. And if you see, I highlighted some area the things that I needed to cover under here that I feel that pertain to us. So you look at B, shares, stocks, and other forms of equity participation in an enterprise, bonds, debentures, debt instruments, loans, futures, options, and other derivatives. And then moving on down to identify the investors of non-party and the investors of a party. There's a natural person who is dual citizenship, is deemed exclusive of nationality of its state of her domain or effective or citizenship, and or natural person who is a citizen of a party and a permanent resident of another party is deemed exclusive national party, which is natural person is a citizen. So it's giving you pretty much just brief rundown of who's and who's what. Just stand by for a second, people. When you get to 14.2 scope, this chapter applies in measure to adopt or maintain the party relating to investors of another party, covered investments, and with respect of Article 14.10 in accordance requirements, Article 14.16 investment, environmental, health, and regulatory objectives. All investments in a territory of the party. I highlighted here on number 2 is Alpha or A, the central, regional, or local government and authorities. And you see down here they have the 14, which is the legacy investment claims, or pending claims, which extended beyond the life of the NAFTA Free Trade Agreement. They are also recognized here. I highlighted that say they still have coverage. However, in our situation, that does not apply as of this moment. Over here, also in section 14-4, it's a national treatment. Each party shall accord the investors of another party of treatment no less favorable than in its accord in like circumstances to its own investors with respect to the establishment, acquisitions, expansion, management, conduct, operations, sale, or other dispositions of an investments in territory. Each party shall accord to covered investment treatments no less favorable than that of the accords in like circumstances to investments in its territories of its own investors with respect to the establishment, acquisitions, expansions, management, conduct, operations, or sale of other dispositions of the investments. It's basically saying that both sides are supposed to be equal, whether for the seller and the buyer. And there again, it says the minimum standards, which is just saying neither one is supposed to be less favorable or more favored. Basically the same thing. Hold on for a second. Appendix 14-D, Mexico, United States, investment disputes. If you see down here, I have the ICSID additional facility rules. Means the rule governing the additional facility for the administration and proceedings of this Secretariat of the International Century of Settlement of Disputes. I believe this is one of the places where, if you were a citizen of Mexico, this is where you were begin to address your disputes with your legal representation, that they would go back and forth for you in arbitration. And there again, like I said, you need to go ahead and get a hold of your embassy for to represent your case and file your complaint. You have to do that. In Mexico, it's same. Likewise, in Canada and U.S., we have the Department of Treasury. Now, I wanted to move on to Chapter 17, Financial Services. And the part that I had highlighted in here, which really applies to us, is when you start getting down to financial services, which means a service of financial nature. Financial services include all insurance and insurance-related services and all banking and other financial services, excluding insurance, as well as services incidental or auxiliary to the service of financial nature. Financial services include the following activities. You have direct insurance, reinsurance or retrosection, acceptance of deposits and other repayable funds from the public, which is banks, financial service. Right here, you get down to the part that's highlighted for us, is trading from own account for accounts of customers, whether the exchange is in over-the-counter markets or otherwise, in the following: money market instruments, including checks, bills, certificates of deposits; foreign exchange, derivative products, including futures and options; exchange rates, interest rates instruments, including products such as swaps and forward and rate agreements. You have transferable securities and other negotiable instruments of financial assets, including bullion, which that's right there. We're mainly focusing on the securities as far as like the stock investments. Also, we have participants of the issue of all kinds of securities, including underwriting, placement agencies, whether public or private, and supply of service related to these issues: money brokering, assets management, such as cash, portfolio management, all forms of collective investments management, pension funds management, custodial depositories and trust services, settlement and clearing services for the financial assets, including securities, derivative products, and other negotiable instruments. That part, all that's in yellow, applies to us. On the next page, you see I have here, don't lose my paper, I highlighted self-regulatory organizations, which means non-profit government bodies, including securities or futures exchange or market clearing agencies or other organizations, associations that exercise regulatory or supervisory authority over financial service suppliers or financial institutions, statutes or delegations for the central or regional government. So that part right there is clearly defined under this agreement that they've replaced the NAFTA Free Trade Agreement with. Give me a second. I skipped all the way down here to 17.14, self-regulatory organizations. It's a very brief mention. If party require financial institutions or cross-border financial services suppliers of other party to be a member of, the participant in, or have access to a self-regulatory organization in order to provide financial services in or into its territory, it shall ensure the self-regulatory organizations observe the obligations contained in this chapter. Payment and clearing systems. Under term conditions that accord national treatment, each party shall grant financial institutions of another party establishment in its territory access and payment and clearing systems operated by the public entities and other funding and financing facilities available in normal course of ordinary business. This article does not confer or require access to parties, lenders, or last resort facilities. So basically, it's saying right there in black and white that when FINRA was making their decision, that they were supposed to also include, under this agreement, residents of Canada and residents of Mexico. At least that's the way I hear it. Now, this is not legal financial advice, by the way, but I just wanted to show you guys that this is here. Now, to determine whether FINRA overstepped their boundaries or not, that's where the arbitration and the arguments has to start. So you guys have to get a hold of your U.S. embassy, or get a hold of your embassy to represent y'all on this issue, and tell them that you want them to address the issues in this agreement, the USCMA agreement, chapters 14 and chapter 17, because they're supposed to represent you on this. If they don't, they should be able to point you in the right department. But this is where it starts. Okay, down here in Appendix 17, that's Bravo or B, authorities responsible for financial services. The authorities for each party responsible for financial services are, and you can see it, it says A, for Canada, the Department of Finance of Canada. B, for Mexico, the Ministry of Finance and the Public Credit. And then for Charlie, C, for the United States, the Department of Treasury, for the purpose of Annex 17C, the Mexico United States Department Investment Disputes of Financial Services, and all matters including banking, securities, financial services, and other than insurance, and the Department of Treasury, incorporation of the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative or Insurance Matters. So basically, people, I'm just giving you all a brief rundown. And this right here is free information. It's available on the U.S. government.gov under the USCMA trade agreement. You can actually look it up. You can download the whole thing, or you can download sections that you're interested in. And that's what I did. I recommend you guys to take advantage of this free information. Like I said, this is not legal or financial advice, but I'm just letting you guys know that it's free, it's there, and it's available. So, do your thing. You got to stand your ground. You got to fight for it. They're not going to give you anything. However, if we all do our little part in applying the pressure, and, you guys who are abroad, who are not in the U.S., you guys who are abroad and still, are able to participate in some free trade agreement and on exchanges and everything, hey guys, go talk to your embassy. File a complaint. Let them know that this thing is greater than what it's. Let me throttle back. My thing is this: if we do not address this as a people, it can actually threaten the sovereignty of not only individual investors, but it has the potential to threaten the sovereignty of your country. And you do not want something threatening your economic base, as far as the country you're living in. I mean, I'd hate to see everything crumble down, and I might be saying something a bit extreme, but if we don't address it as a citizen of where we are, or what country you are in, this thing can get out of hand real quick, and it can get pretty bad. That's why you have those ambassadors, and that's why you have these treaties. These treaties are there to keep everything in order for trade. So people can respect each other's boundaries and respect each other's borders. That's all I have to say on this today, guys. Thank you.